But so thank you for joining me today. Today's topic for day 3 of my 10-day challenge is how to build a company culture that people want to join and you could be proud of. And I think the specific question I got here is how do you promote loyalty? So this is definitely something we're going to talk about. I have some great ideas from you guys for you guys. This is stuff that I've actually experienced myself as an employee and things that I'm doing within my organization now. Really quickly before we get to the content, just as a reminder, if you haven't picked it up already, I have created 2 checklists because I know a lot of you guys are working on building your businesses. And so I created 2 because I have one for my non medical home care agency group of folks that support this channel. And then if you are starting any other business, then I just have a business checklist that will help you. Organization is key. And so I think this is a great free resource for you. So I will, of course, when I upload this video later, I'll make sure that that's included in the description. So, guys, let's get to the content. So, the first tip that I have today is to develop an interactive onboarding process. And so, I definitely made sure to highlight that this is an interactive process. Most people don't like to be sat down and talked to for hours and weeks at a time when they have a new job. So, it's really how do you get them involved? How do you get them bought in to the position that they've just signed up for and that they just have received? So at this point, it's really a good time because the employee is eager to start. You're eager for them to start. So definitely you want to make sure that the onboarding process is a rich one. I recommend that you start with the job description because, again, people do read the job descriptions that they apply for, but a lot of times they're skimming over it. They're looking for keywords. So while you have this person's complete attention, it's good to go over that entire description. This eliminates any confusion about the expectations of the role. And then, usually, after I go through it and I ask them if they have any questions or answer any questions they may have, I like to have them initial it. Myself, I initial it along with them so that I can call back to this conversation. So that there isn't any confusion in terms of what's being expected from them in their job. And then I also take this time to let them know how their position plays a huge role um, in the success of the overall organization, because you do hear that sometimes is I really don't know where I fit in or why my role is so important. And so you want to set that expectation up front and let them know that your role is critical to the success of this organization, and here's how. The second tip I have here is create an onboarding plan. So I like to present this on day 1 as well. So at this point, I like to say the word snapshot. It gives them a snapshot of their entire onboarding plan. And so typically, I like to do that again on day 1, and then I ask for feedback. What I like to do in this part is definitely ask the employee, what are their learning styles? How do they learn best? Do they like handouts? Do they like the conversation? Do we want to pull up a system that they might be working in and go through that? Absolutely. Whatever tasks they are responsible for, this is definitely a time that I like to go over those tasks. Okay. So I let them know, how long the onboarding is expected. For instance, for my personal assistant, I feel like the onboarding is going to be 4 weeks. I already have that plan ready to go, even though I'm still in the process of hiring them. So it's just a way for them to see what that onboarding looks like. Because if you think about it, I probably, besides how much you're going to get paid, most people want to know, what is my training going to look like? Okay, so this is something where you can go over that plan with them and then ask for that immediate feedback, because there may be something that you can infuse right then and there in the plan. I will never forget, I had taken over a new team earlier in my career. I had been told, some things about this team. And so one of the key players on that team, I pulled her aside and we had a great conversation. But one of the questions I asked her is, what management style do you work best with? Because sometimes I feel as leaders, we feel that whatever we say should go. And sometimes that's not necessarily true. We do need our employees, we need them to get the work done. And so my question to her was, what do you respond best to? Because we have a lot of work to get done here in a short amount of time. So how can I support you to get that work done? And I will never forget, she ended up becoming a manager. We ended up being peers later on. And she told me later, years later, that that always stuck with her, that I asked her what type of management style worked best for her. So as leaders, and I have actually, you know what, I'll make sure to link. I did a video before about leadership styles, so that you can identify what type of style you have. I'll make sure to include that in the description. But I bring that up because as a leader and as a business owner, you're going to probably have to flex that style. You know, if someone needs more attention, you may have to be a little bit more directive. If people flourish better out under having autonomy in doing their work, then you will have to flex to becoming more supportive behind the scenes to allow them to step out front and perform the job. Okay, so definitely hear, what management style do you work best under? Okay, the second tip that I have, and I think this is what really bonds and creates that loyalty to your job, and that's to invest in a strong employee experience program. So, in my opinion, even after the job has been expected, um, I'm sorry, even after the job has been accepted, I'm sorry about that. The employee experience, it what causes the employees to stay. That's what wants them to stay at the job. So, what does this look like? Is there a gift for them on their first day? And we're not talking about anything big. Maybe it's a company t shirt, maybe it's a company pen or a company bag. What happens for their birthday or work anniversary? I worked at a job before. Every birthday, when I initially started working there, we got two movie tickets for our birthdays. We got a birthday card and then two movie tickets. As the company grew, um, and became, I mean, very, I'm sure bigger than they had even expected. We all got little gift cards. They were $50 gift cards, and then I think that even went to Amazon cards after that. So it was just a nice touch that every birthday you knew that a card was coming, and it had that gift in there. So, what happens for their birthday or their work anniversary? Are there any celebrations or team luncheons when milestones are reached? So, if the team is performing well, sure, they get their paychecks, but it's nice to, give them a nice lunch, give them something that shows that not only are we recognizing that they're doing a good job for us, but we want to, celebrate them in addition to that. You can have team raffles, small giveaways to promote team spirit, because teams that perform well typically get along well. So just to infuse a little bit of competition, a little bit of team spirit, that's always fun, because even though, everyone's coming into work, they have a job to do. You want to have some fun at work. You want to have a good time, because remember, this is where people are spending the majority of their time away from their family. So you want to make sure you can infuse some fun, just a little bit of fun, in with the work. Any trainings or guest speakers that you can have spend time with your team. Employees understand. I remember I used to love any conferences, any trainings that my employer would give us. I loved them because I knew that that meant that that employer was investing in my career, because any new skill that you could learn or develop, that only means, better things for you ahead, right? So again, invest in your employees if you can, to have any guest speakers. And, guest speakers trainings could be costly. So sometimes you can go up online and pull up team building activities, pull up trainings that you can facilitate, or maybe a close friend can facilitate for you. That also works. A big item here that I have to call out is, you have to have some type of employee recognition program, you know, something. And the way that you want to take a look at it is, you know, people typically get paid to do their job, right? But we don't want our employees to just come in and do their job. We really want them to come in, do well, and exceed. Because whenever they excel, that reflects on the employer. And typically, that means more business for us. So a little piece of that should go back to the employee. right? So, what does that employee recognition program look like? Is there a bonus if a certain level is achieved, a certain tier is achieved? I remember earlier in my career, I had a team that we adopted a client that was bigger than we anticipated. We just were not ready to go live with this client. But the contract had already been signed and they were going live. And pretty much at that time, all we could do was go. The green light was definitely there. Um, Pretty quickly I knew that they had no type of bonus structure, no type of incentive program created. That's the first thing I did because I was like, if we're going to dig ourselves out of this hole, if we're ever going to get this client current, I got to have some carrots to dangle. And I was able to get that approved really quickly because again, the powers that be knew that we had to, you know, pay for performance. You know, it wasn't just a baseline, I need you to do a couple of things. We really needed everyone to step up to get the work done. And a fast way to do that is to implement some time of recognition program and also some type of bonus structure. But even smaller than that, guys, do you have an employee of the month? Is there any team building activities that you can do? So everything doesn't always have to be, doesn't always have to have a price tag attached to it, but maybe an employee of the month. Is there someone that you could call out? If did someone receive a customer compliment that you can tell the whole team about, that you can give kudos to? You can even have kudos awards. I've seen those before. Hey Fajik, I just want to thank you. I saw you doing this. Thank you for performing this. It's just that recognition. Not everything that you give someone is always going to be tangible. Sometimes it's the intangible things that motivate people. Another item that I have here really quickly, guys, is implementing an exit survey. Now, if people choose to leave your organization, especially if that's a critical person and this is a great employee, that's a big loss. So you want to learn from that experience. Why is that person leaving? Hopefully, you have a good enough relationship with them that they will give you that feedback, that they will be honest and let you know the reason why. There's some things you can't compete with. If it's just a lot more money, or if it's in a different field that their degree is in or something like that, hey, there's really not too much you can do there. But every once in a while, you're given some feedback that is a true gift that you can put back into your organization so that you can implement with the employees that are still there with you and as you attract new talent. Okay. The third tip here, guys, is to implement a career path. This is a big one. Good morning, Bernadette. This is a big one. You guys know people are always looking for the next big thing. And again, I will use myself as an example. Earlier in my career, if I didn't receive what I consider to be fair movement in my career, whether that was a promotion or monetary increase, I was out of there. I was looking for another job. I didn't know anything about loyalty. I knew that I felt I had a certain level of worth, and if that employer couldn't match that, then I was gone. Okay. Now listen, at that time that was considered radical, and I would give those employers 2 years. Now, today, most people never stop looking for another job. Even when they secure the job for you, they are still continuing that job search. And if there's anything that they don't like, if they did stop the job search, you can, be rest assured they're continuing to look. So, because things have changed, we have to make sure that we're changing to meet those needs. And a career path is an excellent way to promote loyalty. Um, if you can have a visual to show a person, so you're coming in at an entry level, here's what it takes to get to the next level and then the next level. If you can show someone that, and if you have someone who's really aggressive and they will come and have those conversations with you, the first thing I always point them back to is their performance. How are they performing? Now, if they're performing and they're knocking it out of the park, they don't require a lot of supervision, then I love to create stretch assignments Stretch assignments are for people who have who excel in their current role. They're maybe not necessarily ready to take on that second role, but you want to prep them for, to get to that next level. And so it could be, now I always tell people, remember, in order for you to show that you're ready for that next level, then what I'm actually paying you for can't slide, right? So you're continuing that excellent performance, and then I'm preparing you for that next level. So you're taking on the added work. Um, to show again as kind of like a training, as a mentoring, to get them to that next level, but just any stretch assignments that they can do. Okay. So that career path is huge. I have um, previously had the pleasure of creating a career path, and it infused a lot of excitement in the department that I was supervising at that time. We had a lot of people coming to me, can I talk to you about this career path? Where do I fit? So just a heads up to you, when you roll out a career path, people are going to be excited, but it's going to create a lot of conversation. So you just want to prepare yourself, because people want to know, so where do I stand? How close am I to that next level? So you may have to put together a training plan or a career plan, to make sure that you and that person are on the same page. You definitely don't want to have any conversations that will give people false hope. If they're not ready for that next level, be prepared to tell them that, but also show them how you're willing to help them to get to that next level. Okay. We are again over that 10-minute mark. But hopefully I've given you a lot of good conversation here. I've given you a lot of good tips, but typically you really want to make sure that that employee feels that you care about them, and then of course their careers. And you can do that by making sure you have an interactive onboarding process, that you're investing in a strong employee experience program, and then you have some kind of career path implemented for them. Okay, because they got to have something to look forward to. Hopefully, you guys have noticed. If you are taking notes, that's great. But when I post these videos lately, I make sure that I post the kind of slides that I create for this 10-day live challenge. So that way you kind of have them, and you can go back and have what I'm saying in addition to what I've written down. So you guys can have that. I wanted to make sure that you had the information available, because this is stuff that you guys have asked me for. Okay. All right, guys. Let me see. I just want to make sure I didn't have any questions. It doesn't seem like I do. So, want to thank you for attending today's session. I will be sure to post that a little bit later. Do not forget, if you haven't already, don't forget to download your free checklist. Okay, you guys, that's all I have for you. Have a wonderful day and stay blessed.